A powerful tornado tore right through the Rivian factory, and cars still rolled off the line that morning. That single fact right there tells you almost everything you need to know about Rivian today. Not many companies can survive a natural disaster and keep their production schedule completely intact at the same time. But that is exactly what happened, and the details of how it happened are worth understanding fully here. On a Friday night, with no warning anyone could have planned for, a tornado came through Normal, Illinois. It hit the south end of the Rivian manufacturing facility and ripped the roof completely off the building. It also knocked down parts of the plant structure itself, which compounded the damage significantly throughout that night. The south end of that facility is the logistics area, where materials flow in through the dock doors. That is not a secondary or optional section of the building. That is a critical part of production flow. When you lose that section, you lose the ability to feed the assembly line with parts consistently. And yet the teams responded immediately, working around the clock for the next 72 straight hours together. They pumped water out of the facility, secured the structure, and started planning a completely new logistics flow. Materials that used to come in through the dock doors now had to be rerouted in different ways. The team did not stop to feel sorry for themselves. They got to work and figured it out fast. And by the very next morning, vehicles were still coming off the production line as originally planned before. Russ Scaringe called this the ultimate example of resilience, and it is very difficult to disagree with him. When a tornado hits your factory and you still ship cars the following morning, something real is happening. That kind of operational resolve is not something you can build quickly or train into people overnight easily. It comes from a culture that is deeply committed to the mission and to each other as a team. And it is worth appreciating that this happened at one of the most critical moments in Rivian's history. They are in the middle of ramping up production of the R2, their most important vehicle to date. A production ramp is already one of the hardest things any car company will ever go through in operation. Every new vehicle launch involves thousands of moving parts, complex supplier relationships, and constant process refinement happening daily. Adding an actual natural disaster to that situation would have broken most organizations and set them back many months. Rivian absorbed it, found workarounds, and kept the ramp schedule exactly as it was without changing a thing. That is not a small thing. That is a company showing the world that it has matured significantly now. The ramp-up for this week and into the following week remained completely unchanged despite the severity of the storm. They had to make accommodations for the logistics section, yes, but the overall direction held firmly in place. That tells you something very specific about where Rivian is as a manufacturing operation at this particular moment. A year ago, production challenges were one of the biggest concerns hanging over this company at almost every turn. Now they are absorbing an actual natural disaster and still keeping the entire production schedule fully intact afterward. That is growth. That is a different kind of company than what we were watching just a year before. Now let us talk about the car itself, because that is what most people are really here for today. Russ has been driving an R2 for a while now, and his enthusiasm about it feels completely genuine throughout. He described it as incredible, which is a word he used carefully and with real intention and weight. The combination of the overall package, the driving dynamics, and the efficiency all came together in a unique way. Add in the design and the aesthetic feel, and you have something that is genuinely difficult to explain simply. The R2 feels right to people who drive it, and that reaction has been very consistent across multiple events. Rivian hosted events in multiple cities where potential customers could experience the vehicle before making any purchase decisions at all. In Denver, something happened that you simply cannot manufacture with marketing or advertising no matter how much you spend. People lined up just to sit inside the car, not to drive it, just to sit in it. That is the kind of enthusiasm that only comes from genuine excitement about a product, not from marketing campaigns. It tells you that Rivian has built something that people feel a real connection with almost immediately upon seeing it. And that connection is one of the most valuable things any consumer product company can ever possibly build up. Brand loyalty at that level cannot be bought. It has to be earned by delivering on promises made consistently. And everything we are seeing right now suggests that the R2 is delivering on what Rivian promised people early. Now let us get into the pricing, because this is the conversation that matters most to the mainstream market today. The average price of a new car in the United States is sitting at around $50,000 right now. Rivian looked at that number very carefully and designed a vehicle that fits right into that exact price range. The entry-level R2 will start at $45,000, which puts it just below the average new car price. The top performance specification with all the interior features and kit comes in at around $57,000 overall. That range lets Rivian speak to buyers across the mainstream and premium segments without losing either important group of buyers. Below the average, above the average, in between, the R2 covers a meaningful stretch of the real market. But the launch is not starting with the $45,000 version. That one comes a little later on. The premium spec is launching first, which is a standard practice for any new vehicle introduction in this industry. After the premium edition, a mid-spec version will follow, and then the base $45,000 trim comes last. That full rollout is expected to happen over roughly the next year as production volumes build up sufficiently enough. Some buyers will be frustrated that they have to wait for the lowest price point to become available to them. That frustration is understandable, but it is worth looking at it from the business side for just a moment. Higher margin vehicles at launch give Rivian the financial breathing room to fund the ramp without compromising quality at all. Once the line is running well and volumes are climbing, they can introduce lower-priced variants far more confidently thereafter. It is the path that makes the most operational sense, and it is not unique to Rivian in any way. Every major automaker launching a new platform has followed a similar approach to their rollout strategy over many years. What matters is that the commitment to $45,000 is firm, and ARJ has made that crystal clear publicly. It is not a maybe. The base R2 is coming, and the timeline is real and confirmed as of today. When it arrives, it will open Rivian up to a completely new pool of buyers who are ready and waiting. People who could never justify the price of an R1 will suddenly find themselves seriously considering the R2 as an option. That is how you grow a brand from a niche product into something that genuinely moves the mainstream market forward. You build something aspirational first, and then you make it accessible to more and more people over time at scale. Rivian is executing exactly that playbook right now, and the R2 is the most critical step in that whole journey. Now let us move into the technology section because this is where things get genuinely exciting and strategically interesting fast. The launch edition of the R2 already comes with a very capable driver assistance platform from the very first day. This is built on NVIDIA silicon combined with cameras and radar, and it is far from being a basic system. It builds directly on the R1 platform, bringing forward everything Rivian has learned from that program over the past few years. And that foundation alone is enough to deliver something most buyers have never experienced inside a vehicle before now. Later this year, Rivian will begin rolling out point-to-point Level 2 autonomy across the vehicles already on the road. This means the driver keeps their eyes on the road but can take their hands completely off the steering wheel. You type an address into the system, and the car handles the complete journey from start to finish on its own. No constant steering input needed. No lane-keeping corrections required. The car drives, and you supervise from the seat comfortably. That is a meaningful leap beyond what most driver assistance systems on the market are capable of delivering today. And then, beyond that, into next year, Rivian is planning to roll out Level 3 autonomy starting on highways first. Level 3 means both hands off the wheel and eyes off the road within approved driving domains and conditions entirely. This will apply first to highway driving, where the environment is more structured and predictable for the onboard system. This level of capability is something even the most advanced automakers in the world are still actively working toward achieving. Rivian is targeting delivery of it within the next 12 months, which is a very bold and specific commitment here. And this will be true across the R1 Gen 2 and the launch edition of the R2 simultaneously as well. But there is a second layer coming to the R2 later this year that fundamentally changes the capability ceiling upward. Rivian is introducing a variant of the R2 that carries their own in-house developed silicon chip deep inside it. That chip delivers 800 TOPS of computing performance, which is exceptional processing power for any vehicle in this class. Two of those chips are installed together in the vehicle, giving the system a combined total of 1,600 TOPS. Alongside that chip sits a LiDAR sensor positioned right at the top of the windshield on the vehicle's exterior. LiDAR builds a real-time, three-dimensional picture of the environment around the vehicle as it moves continuously through space. Cameras and radar are excellent sensors, but LiDAR adds a depth and precision that those sensors simply cannot fully replicate. The combination of that compute power and LiDAR perception raises what the vehicle can ultimately achieve significantly beyond the baseline. Think of the Launch Edition as a very capable athlete, and the in-house silicon variant as an elite level 1. Both are impressive. Both do most things well. But the ceiling of one is simply much higher than the other. And that higher ceiling matters not just for the individual driver experience, but for the bigger strategic picture overall too. This is where the data flywheel concept comes in, and it may be the most important idea in this entire conversation. Rivian is building what they call a large driving model, essentially an AI brain trained on real-world driving data collected continuously. To train that model effectively, you need massive amounts of real-world driving data from actual vehicles operating on real roads. The more vehicles you have collecting data, and the higher quality that data is, the smarter the whole model becomes over time. This is the same flywheel Tesla has been running for years, and it is one of their most significant competitive advantages. Rivian is building their own version, and the R2's high volume is what makes the whole flywheel work at scale. The R2 generates driving data at a scale the R1 simply never could because of its intentionally much lower volume. Every mile driven by every R2 on the road teaches the large driving model something new and genuinely valuable overall. And the variants with LiDAR and the in-house silicon capture even richer, more detailed data from every single trip taken. LiDAR's three-dimensional sensing gives the model a kind of environmental awareness that cameras and radar alone cannot provide on their own. So the premium variant is not just a fancier car for enthusiasts who want more technology features in their vehicle. It is a more capable data collector that accelerates the training of the large driving model for the entire Rivian fleet. That means even base model buyers benefit indirectly from what the premium variants are continuously learning on the road daily. The whole system improves together, and that kind of network effect becomes significantly more powerful the larger the overall fleet grows. This is precisely why Rivian wants to scale the R2 volume as fast as responsibly possible in the near term. More R2s on road means a smarter system for everyone, and that makes the whole product more valuable over time. A more valuable software system means other companies start paying serious attention to what Rivian has quietly been building here. That leads directly to the licensing piece, which may be the biggest single business story inside this entire conversation today. The market has been picking up signals about potential software licensing conversations between Rivian and other major automakers around the world. And in this interview, RJ opened that door more clearly than he has in any previous public statement or interview. He described two distinct revenue streams that Rivian is actively building their long-term business model around simultaneously right now today. The first is vehicle sales, and the R2 is the primary engine driving that part of the growth strategy forward. The second is technology licensing, and the Volkswagen deal is the best real-world example of what that means in practice. Rivian signed a deal worth $5.8 billion with the Volkswagen Group not very long ago at all. This deal was not centered on self-driving technology. It was about something far more foundational than autonomous driving specifically here. Volkswagen is licensing Rivian's compute stack, software platform, and operating system for deployment across their entire electric vehicle lineup going forward. That means one of the world's largest automotive groups will run Rivian software inside their vehicles for years to come. Volkswagen builds millions of cars every year across many brands around the world, and they chose Rivian software to power them. That is a statement about the quality of what Rivian has built internally over the past several years working quietly. And RJ made it clear that Volkswagen is just the beginning. not a one-off arrangement or a fortunate coincidence at all. They are actively interested in doing more licensing deals with other automakers as their technology stack continues to develop and mature. And the autonomy stack specifically represents another enormous licensing opportunity that will grow more valuable as the technology matures significantly. If Rivian's large driving model produces a genuinely capable autonomous driving system, other automakers are going to want access to it. Rather than keeping it entirely proprietary, Rivian is signaling a real openness to licensing that autonomy technology out to willing partners. That changes the entire strategic picture of what Rivian is as a company in the most fundamental and important way. They are not just an EV company trying to survive in a competitive market against players that are far larger and older. They are an emerging technology platform company that also happens to make vehicles that people genuinely love and deeply connect with. The vehicles generate the data trains the software, and the software generates licensing revenue from partners around the world. That closed loop becomes more valuable with every additional mile driven and every new software licensing deal successfully closed with others. And the R2, at $45,000, is the vehicle that unlocks this entire flywheel at the scale needed to matter. Lower price means more buyers mean more vehicles, and more vehicles mean more real data being collected constantly. More data means a smarter model, and a smarter model means more licensing deals with more companies choosing to pay in. The whole thing connects in a way that very few people outside the industry are thinking about clearly and completely yet. But once you see how it all connects, the strategic ambition driving the R2 becomes much clearer and far more exciting. It is not just about hitting a price point. It is about building a network that compounds in value over time. And all of this is happening while Rivian is also navigating a real manufacturing ramp in an extremely competitive global market. They have not reached cruise control by any means. They are still climbing, and the demands of scaling keep growing. But everything coming out of this conversation suggests they are climbing with more confidence and capability than at any point before. The product is ready. The pricing is right. The technology roadmap is grounded in real timelines and specific deliverables coming soon. The manufacturing operation is proving it can handle real disruption without losing its footing or slowing its momentum at all. And the business model is expanding in ways that give Rivian multiple credible paths to building long-term and sustainable value. This is not the same company that struggled to build a few hundred trucks a week just a couple years ago. This is a company that is finding its full operational stride at exactly the right moment in its whole journey. The $45,000 R2 is coming. The autonomous capabilities are on the roadmap with firm and specific timelines attached. The software licensing deals are being built out, and the data flywheel is beginning to turn at meaningful speed now. And through all of that, even a tornado could not stop them from keeping cars rolling off the production line. If you have been watching Rivian and wondering whether they are going to truly make it through, here is your answer. The evidence right now is stronger than it has been at any point in Rivian's entire company history up to today. They are not just surviving. They are building, scaling, licensing, and innovating all at exactly the same time, without slowing down. That is the full story of Rivian at this specific moment, and it is one absolutely worth paying very close attention to.